Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have an ultimate hypercharge ranking from worst to best. We have currently 67 hypercharges in the game, and today I will rank all of them. To make sure that you don't get bored, I made sure to give you the best gameplay possible with these hypercharges. So don't forget to subscribe, tell me your opinion in the comments, and let's go. So I also decided to give the brawlers like different tier rankings. So we're starting with F tier, place number 67. That, well, is Gene. His hypercharge is just terrible. In my opinion, it nerfs him because pulling someone faster is like not even good because you have less time to get your opponent down. Also, I barely see anyone grabbing like two people, and even if you grab two people, Gene himself won't be able to kill these guys at the same time. They have to rework this. By the way, I can only suggest watching my short where I talked about reworking the Gene hypercharge. If you want to know more about this idea, make sure to check it out. Number 66 is Pearl. The problem is Pearl's hypercharge is still pretty useless. Like, you leave a burning area after supering and they get a knockback. So they basically get knocked out of the zone. Yeah, I don't know about this hypercharge. It's not well thought through. Number 65, that's Sprout. Yeah, so the only mode where you can make some use of Sprout's hypercharge wall is highs. Like, you can place a wall there on the highs, reset it with the gadget, place it again. But who plays Sprout in highs? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I've never seen like anyone receiving damage from the wall. Could have also been like place number 66 on Pearl. But yeah, both of these hypercharges are not really good. Not much to say about them. Only thing I can say is that they need to rework this. So 64 is a recent hypercharge. So the problem is people that get hit by his fire damage are not getting burned. It doesn't even have an effect like interrupting the healing. So all you do is doing like some additional bonus damage when you super someone. Guys, honestly, this is not what Carl needed. Number 63 is Charlie. The thing is, if you cocoon someone, the spiders will die right after he spawns out of that cocoon. So beside the stats, there's not big benefit you get with Charlie. But the positive thing, why I rank this a bit higher than the other hypercharges, is that if you miss your super, maybe on purpose, or even if not, you will still spawn free spiders. So against single target brawlers, it has some value, but not too much. So 62 is Daryl. You have basically, while rolling with the hypercharge, one gadget, and if you use two rolls, you have basically two gadgets. The stats are pretty nice for Daryl with the Daryl kit combo. You can cook, but you want the hypercharge for the stats, not really for the effect. Like, the effect is basically useless, just like all the other brawlers we're talking about here. 61. People say I underrate this hypercharge, but I don't think so. I put Primo here because, you know, when you super someone, pulling them towards you, I think it's a better effect than knocking them back. So after the jump, you can engage even better. But still, I was hoping for so much more. If the area was bigger, I think this hypercharge would be much better. Yeah, just imagine Primo with a bigger pulling range. That would be cool. Just a little bit like Jackie, just much smaller. Okay, number 60, we have Rosa. When she hypercharges, she gets this little slowing area. It's not good. Okay, you know, it helps you. It debuffs your opponents. But I think when you play that slow gadget, you wouldn't need that anyway. The area is not too big. So I think you don't really have any problems when you play speed gear, for example, on a bushy map, because this is where you play Rosa. You won't even really need the slower, I think. These were the F tier hypercharges. Now we have the D tier hypercharges. And we're starting with number 59, which is Bull. He gets a lot of damage reduction when supering, and I think, you know, that's a lot better than all the other hypercharges till now. The problem is, if you use the buffed Stomper gadget, you know, you don't block any damage anymore. But overall, 80% damage reduction is pretty good. On 58, we have Cold. His super is just wider, you know? It just covers more area. It's okay. Nothing too special. Not trash, not too good. So this is why it's on 58. 57 is Miko. I ranked this much lower than in the previous rankings. I think the stun is cool, but do you need a stun for Miko after landing on someone? Probably not. Like, when I'm landing on someone, no matter if it's with hypercharge or not, you have a guaranteed kill anyway. So you don't really need the stun. And while being in the air, you cannot really make any use of your hypercharge, which is why you should click your hypercharge, try to get some attacks off, and van super if possible to get the maximum out of it. On 56 might be surprising to a lot of you. That is if her hypercharge got nerfed. It was like one of the best hypercharges in my opinion when it got released. It spawned so many babies, so many hatchlings. Now it's like 6, I think, or 7. I hope I'm not wrong about that. Like, it's really not too many. And then like the usual explosion with the 3 babies. I think they're too easy to kill. It's not the whole army of hatchlings anymore. So I don't really like it too much. Eve is not in the meta because of that anymore. Only on some water maps. But you don't pick her because of her hypercharge. You pick her because of her ability to walk on water. 55, we have Belle. Her hypercharge is auto-aiming her super, so you have a guaranteed super on someone. I mean, unless you somehow manage to fail the super. And yeah, again, it's nothing too special, but the fact that you have a guaranteed 20% debuff on a brawler here is a good thing. The additional stats are good for a sniper. Also, cycling doesn't need too long. On 54, we have Mac. She's also a newer hypercharge and either gets additional range of her super with some crazy damage, or she gets a shield when she's in a mini form. I don't think the shield is any good, honestly, but the larger range actually could be cooking. I don't know it yet. The hypercharge is not out, so we just have to wait for it. On 53, we have Shelly. It could surely be possible that Mac is a much better version of Shelly, but I don't know that yet. We have some more additional range, more damage, boosted movement speed, and in combination with the sniper gadget, I just think that this hypercharge is pretty good. You know that default Shelly combo, just super, click sniper gadget, maybe some auto aim, and with the stacked damage on the hypercharge and the improved super, especially if you play slow. Damn. Okay, so 52, I decided to put Nani. I think the hypercharge is okayish because you deal more damage. And where do you play Nani? Basically only in bounty, wipeout, or sometimes heist. So what do you need in wipeout and bounty? Kills. The super can be a guaranteed kill, and if you have some more HP brawlers in the lobby, the additional hypercharge damage plus a bigger head will help you making a kill. I think it's a decent one, so I put this on 52. 51 is Lola. Her clone deals like 100 more damage, I think, with a single projectile, so that's pretty good, and it gets 2000 more HP. I wish it had like a little more HP, just like the Jessie turret, for example, or the Nita bear. I don't know how the damage is when you have your hypercharge clone right next to you, because this hypercharge is also not out yet. We will see. Number 50, our last D tier brawler is Ems. She basically just gets another gadget with the super and also another main attack. Sounds pretty good actually. With the additional movement speed, which is quite helpful with your super, you can do something with this. I just think the cycle just takes way too long. If you play Showdown, for example, it needs way too long until it's charged. C tier brawlers. Number 49 is Poco. When your allies are on full HP, you know, you give that shield, and 3 people with a shield of 4200 in a combo with Max, for example, speed and like a primo. Damn, like it can be pretty wild. So this is why I gave this a 49. Just make sure you don't use this hypercharge when your allies are low. Like then it doesn't make any sense. You want to give them the shield. This is how you play the hypercharge. On 48, we have Maisie. A very nice stat boosting. The cycle is decent. If you stand in an opponent, you can deal up to 20,000 damage. It's pretty hard to hit, but you know, with the combination using your super, then the gadget, that can work pretty well. And you maybe even if you don't hit 20k, it's still possible to hit 1 or 2 additional projectiles, and honestly, anyone is dead by then. On 47, we have Brock. He climbed the ladder a little bit. His hypercharge was pretty bad in the beginning. Now it became much better because the damage is also buffed. You just deal more damage on the high save with the hypercharge now than a normal super, and honestly, this is how it should be. Boosted stats, of course. I think they reworked that pretty well, so I'm happy with that. On 46, we have Dynamite. His hypercharge effect is not very special. Like, you're just gonna drop the bomb, and after the bomb explodes, you will have a lot of dynamite spawning out of the bomb, dealing some additional damage. Basically, it's a full damage boost. The bomb deals more damage, and you're probably going to hit another dynamite that explodes from the bombs. So a pure damage hypercharge, I believe. And I think you can do a cool dyna jump with it. On spot number 45, we have Tick. When his head explodes, you will leave 6 of his mines, and they deal 4000 damage each. So if you should ever hit that on a high save, or you know, in combat or against unexperienced players, you will deal a lot of damage. And And unfortunately, I ran into these mines a lot of times. I basically forget that they are spawning. So that's quite annoying. On 44, we have Spike. Larger area with the slowing gear. It's a very good combination. Spike has a good super cycle. So if you hit decent damage, then you will also be able to pull off another super. But I mean, that's basically for all brawlers. But with Spike, I've seen it more frequently. On spot 43, we have Gale with the double super, basically. More damage, more knockback. Very simple one. I don't think I can say like too much about it, but it does its job. On 42, I decided to put Barry because of the insane healing. Like, Barry's healing is just crazy. I have no idea how they did not nerf his brawler with the last balance changes. With the hypercharge, you cover even a larger area, dealing more damage, healing more, and the cycle is pretty fast. On 41, I have Piper. She dropped down by a lot. Piper's not really in the meta anymore, but it's still a cool hypercharge. You know, it's fun to play. It's cool to just try into someone, play aggressive. I like that, but ranking the efficiency, it's not doing too well lately. Positive thing that needs to be mentioned is you can also open the spot where you land on. On spot number 40, we have Squeak. With the slowing star power, this hypercharge can cook. Having two supers, it can be very useful in highs. Also in hot zone, Squeak got better with that gadget rework, has a decent hypercharge. So this brawler is getting back into meta. And as I said, with the slow star power, which I never play, but if you play it, it's very likely to hit your super. You can deal a ton of damage, and additionally, if you slow a whole team, it can immediately give you control. On 39, we have Ruffs. The good thing about him is, like, first of all, his stats got buffed, but also you can just recycle any hypercharge. So if you just had, you know, like an overpowered hypercharge like Morris, for example, he team wipes the whole thing. You give him just another hypercharge and he can team wipe again. So literally give it to another person and double it. By the way, I forgot to say it. Now we reached B tier, and 38 we have B. It only splits and gets through opponents. I don't like that too much. The range is still insane, but the most important part why this is ranked 38 is that your big shot gets an incredible, and I mean an incredible damage buff. So you can see B usually deals 4,400 damage without a hypercharge. With the hypercharge, you can see 2,000 and 5,500. So that's 1,100 more with a single shot, and with two shots, you're dealing 7,500 damage with two shots. Now we have the damage gear activated, and now it's additional damage. So we have over 6,000 damage with a single shot. That is much more than a Mandy super. On 37, we have Otis. He just has, you know, this additional stun. Why I think this is so good is because you can also stun a Kid Daryl combo, for example. I think Otis is a pretty good counter to that combo, and that already deserves speed here. You don't really need the stun because if someone is muted, you have high chances of killing someone, but the additional damage, the stun, etc. actually helps a lot. On 36, I decided to put Ash. The problem I have with this hypercharge, yeah, if you play against single target brawlers, it's crazy. If you play against splash damage brawlers, it's whack. It's a coin flip, basically. Depends on the matchup. On spot number 35, we have a Fang. He can just super through walls with his hypercharge and leave some, I think it deals 3 or 4k damage popcorn behind his way. A goated brawler in 5v5. We have like a legendary clip that you can take a look at here. And yeah, the only handicap you have with Fang super is basically that you cannot super through walls or get stuck on walls. And this hypercharge just deletes this problem, and that is very valuable. Spot 34 goes to Cordelius. The thing here is that Cordelius is like extremely powerful, like the hypercharge in Showdown, where you can just choose a pick. You can erase brawlers like a Sam, for example. They cannot do anything. But then in 3v3, you know, such a kill has way less value than in Showdown. That's a difference. And I also want to include a little bit of Showdown in this list, so this is why I put this a bit higher. If it was like only 3v3, it would be much lower. 33, we have Frank. His hypercharge is quite simple, like just 360 super, but actually you can dodge it. If you couldn't dodge it, it would be way higher, but since you can dodge it and some people already learned how to dodge it, I have to rank it a bit lower. Also, you have a slightly range nerf. Still, it's a great hypercharge, especially for 3v3. It has a fast cycle, pretty simple one. Just like Jackie on 32. Same for her, you just get a ridiculous speed buff with the gadget rework. You're a Formula 1 car with Jackie, and even if you don't hit your super, you still will slow opponents from a pretty ridiculous range. Spot number 31 then goes to Bow. I think I underrated this hypercharge a little bit. It's actually not that bad. You can place 8 mines on the field now. Against a great tank combo, for example, it can work pretty well if you just have dozens of mines placed. You can break a map if necessary with the 8-second cooldown gadget, especially against the average player. It's so annoying. First of all, it takes a while to bait all of the mines. Most of your opponents will just straight run into them and get stunned. I think this hypercharge is actually pretty decent. I didn't know before that you can stack up to 8. The molester number 1 is Edgar, but he's only 30th place on this list. His hypercharge is pretty good. I like it. When you combine it with the instant super gadget, start jumping, you can have up to like 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps in a row. Okay, maybe not 6, but you know what I mean. I like the hypercharge pretty much, and I think it also does his job. On 29, I put Buster. His 360 shield doesn't only look cool, it also has insane reflecting damage. So if a Colt dares to shoot you when you have your hypercharge super ready, just click it and he's getting shredded by that super. It's not out yet, so as with all newer hypercharges, could be that it's like not that crazy. It could be that it's even crazier, so let's just wait for that. We now have 8 tier hypercharges. Leon is on spot number 28. When using his super and hypercharge, you will be able to shoot and people won't be able to see you even if you shoot. Lets you heal, have additional movement speed, additional damage. People cannot see you for a couple of seconds. Pretty broken. Place 27 goes to Angelo. The only thing this guy was missing is that he literally can't take his super with him. And with that hypercharge, he got it. Only problem, the cycle takes so long for you to make some proper kills. I think you won't be able to get it like twice in a game ever. Most likely just once. But for knockout, for example, this is still enough. And 26, I put Gray. The main reason is you can literally just have 2 porters. So in hot zone, if you play that Gray double tank combo, you can place a porter from your spawn a bit to the front and then another porter into the zone. And people can from the spawn directly get into the zone. That is so ridiculous. Also getting an additional 1000 HP shield. Yeah, you can see hypercharge quality goes pretty high with every single hypercharge. Now we have Barley on spot number 25. He can burn bushes with his hypercharge and cover a crazy large area. It's very good to finish in my opinion. Very good to get control over the game in seconds. And also bushes are not really good for Barley, so a very nice hypercharge for him. We have another thrower on spot number 24. That is Grom. He's the last thrower on this list, so he has the best throwing hypercharge in the game in my opinion. Gives both a knockback, both open the map, both makes damage of course, makes it much easier to hit. So I think Grom will be big meta as soon as the hypercharge releases. 23 is Bibi. With her hypercharge, she gets additional speed, her bubble split, and it can be so molesting. It's pretty RNG, like you cannot tell me that any Bibi main is like, doing the maths, how this thing, how the angles are, how the bubbles will go. You just spam that and either it's going to cook the whole lobby or, it's not that useful. But most of the time, it does a pretty good job and the stats are crazy on Bibi. 22 is for Crow. His hypercharge just takes ages to be ready. I just cannot rank it higher. It's a very nice hypercharge in highs. If you get to the save and you are able to super in there, I don't know, it's like 40%. If you have the star power active, then it's probably even like 50 or 60%. Just ridiculous high damage. But also in Showdown or other modes, going in with that hypercharge most likely is a guaranteed kill. Only problem is it takes way too long. 21 is Stu. He can super through the whole map with a single hypercharge. Heal up, Sometimes it's hard to actually interrupt the dashing and just deal some damage, but I can only recommend do waste your 3 main attacks while being hypercharged. It deals additional damage. Do it when your opponent does not expect it. Top 20 goes to 8-bit. His tower literally becomes a protection tower or a gun turret, whatever, and starts shooting at your opponents. It also has more HP. I think that's pretty cool, especially for Showdown, a very cool addition to the brawler. It's not as broken as other turrets that we will talk later about, but it's still a good addition. With Surge, we reached S tier hypercharges, and the first one goes to Surge on number 19. 17. His hypercharge is pretty good, like level 5 or just using it on level 4 for the splitted shots. It's pretty cool, it's pretty good, but it just got nerfed, you know, it takes quite long to pull it off, but it's not too good. I still love Surge, I still love his hypercharge, so yeah, don't worry. Number 80 then is Sandy. You get additional movement speed, a short silence to the enemies, and the basic super itself. It's so good to get control, to make a score on Brawl Ball. I mean, do whatever you want with it, but it will be hard to not get a lot of value out of his super. On 17, we have Buzz. He used to be one of the best brawlers in the last meta. Now he fell off a little bit, but that doesn't change the quality of his hypercharge. You can super through the whole map, get multiple supers at once in combination with the gadget, or perma-stun opponents if you played well. 16th place goes to Nita. It's simple. Bruce just has a ton of HP, is faster. He's just a big guy molesting people. You most likely only play Nita in like Brawl Ball or Heist, but that doesn't matter. The hypercharge is very good. And then on spot number 15th, we also have basically the same hypercharge, but with the turret. Jesse's 100,000 HP turret is crazy with the repair star pop. You can even heal that thing. It cannot walk, but it has range. So on spot 14, we have Colette. Also a very simple explained hypercharge. Whoever you super, he's dead. But you usually don't want to super someone with the hypercharge. You want to do it on the high save and deal 20% damage. If you're able to cycle it again, even more than 40% damage. Very broken. Heist pick, just like our next brawler. Not broken in Heist, but in Hot Zone, and nowadays actually in every mode. We're talking about Lou. With the reloading buff, he's meta everywhere, and the hypercharge is very broken. It got a nerf. You need a little bit longer now to charge it. But as you can see here, I was able to pull it off 3 times in a single match. So I cannot really feel like the 12.5% nerf. I don't know if that's correct. Maybe it's more. It stuns your opponent and the stun lasts so long. Like, it's basically having a dynamite stun, but you cannot miss it. Number 12 then is Chester. I cannot judge that too good right now. It's also one of the newer hypercharges. I personally think you will just one-shot anyone with this. You can throw his slow super, which is also cool. Poison people. I think it's going to be crazy. Could be ranked higher easily, but I just don't know yet. So I want to be careful with this. Number 11 is Sam. I think that one is also going to be broken. It's not too hard to hit your super with the gloves, like dealing damage on an opponent. And if you do so, you can just get them back immediately. Top 10. We now have reached the last 10 brawlers, and these ones are the broken ones. So we start with 10th place, and that's Melody. Pretty cracked hypercharge. You can farm it way too quick. She's so good in hockey with that, or also in Brawl Ball, in Heist, in Hot Zone. Like, give me one more where she's not good at. Just a crazy broken brawler in general right now, and the hypercharge makes her even better. Number 9 then goes to Penny. Here we have a turret that shoots 2 cannonballs instead of 1. You can also see Penny everywhere in rank. You can see her being banned a lot of times if that thing is placed. Like, it's so annoying to play against her. Squeak is getting back into the meta, so I ranked it a bit lower because with Squeak we have a very nice answer here in ranked, and most likely you only play her in Hot Zone or Gem Grab. Number 8 we have Terra. I underrated this hypercharge a lot and too long. It has insane potential. Like, the radius is just too big. Team wiping is so easy with this hypercharge. You basically cannot miss it. You can break big area of the map. In Brawl Ball, as you can see here, if you want to do a score, you can do that. Surely you can team wipe, but you can also break their whole goal. Number 7 then is Rico. Yes, it got nerfed, but that doesn't change anything. Like, it's still so strong. These things, these projectiles are going everywhere. And it's not even hard to cycle it a second time because his super cycle is so quick. On maps with a lot of walls, you know, it's basically GG when this guy has his hypercharge. Number 6 is Janet. She's just a killer. With the gadget rework, she's even more meta now. Can place that turret every 20 seconds. And with the hypercharge, just fly over the gem carry, kill him, steal his gems, and fly out again. Number 5, we have Max. Max is our last support for this list. Also, Max got a hypercharge nerf, but still the potential is crazy. The speed, like, look at the speed with Max, is just so crazy. But that's not all. Also, if you stack together with your team, you will get 75% of your super. So if you have teammates and you know, oh guys, I'm going to hypercharge now, just stick together for like a second, so you get the 75% super, and then just walk over them, have an easy score on hockey, brawl or whatever. And also Max is S tier in ranked right now. Number 4 then is Mr. P. He got back in the meta with just 1 hypercharge. There is another brawler, but we will talk about him later. Mr. P is our last controller for this list, and also the last turret brawler. He just can spawn 2 porters with his hypercharge, like penguins, I mean. They are faster, they have more HP, they deal more damage, they spawn quicker, I believe. Absolutely broken, way too strong. Nerf that ASAP. The bronze medal goes to our last tank, and that tank, most of you probably expected him to be like on top 1, but honestly I think we have 2 stronger hypercharges on this list, which will surprise you. Anyway, Tank's hypercharge is indeed broken, which is why he is top 3. Homing missiles on open maps, Tank is just insane, and it's not too hard to cycle more than 1 super, which additionally heals you and clears the whole field. Like, great brawler, great hypercharge now. Number 2, then we finally have Morris. He is the 2nd strongest hypercharge in the game. He's the last assassin on this list. Team wiping is just so easy with him. Like, he got a nerf that he needs longer to get his hypercharge, but that doesn't change. Like, you go in, you get an insane amount of healing. With the mythic gear, it's even stronger because it's so much easier to hit with him. You deal insane damage, and when you basically like hit 2 people with the hypercharge, you have an instant super again just by hitting the super. If you then also hit your dashes, most likely, yeah, I mean, the field is cleared. And the top 1 hypercharge, I don't care what you say. I was like, okay, should I do it? Should I do it? And I did it. I put Mandy on spot number 1, our last marksman with the hypercharge, because I think it's not that hard to do a team wipe with this incredible hypercharge, and the cycle is insane. Like, I played this brawler in ranked so many times, even when she's not meta, and I cooked every single lobby against high elo players, and in most like trio showdown, duo showdown, solo showdown, even there I was able to cook the whole lobby even easier because it's like not high elo ranking. Absolutely disgusting hypercharge, needs to be nerfed in my opinion. So underrated. I hear people saying that this is trash. It's not trash. Like, what brawler has this potential to clear the whole lobby in every single 3v3 mode, in ranked, in showdown? Like, tell me, hit 2 things and you have another super that could clear the whole lobby again. And even if you just hit 1 projectile with your super, then you just need like 2 more hits, which is fairly doable. I think this one is absolutely crazy. I know it's a hot take for a lot of people, but you don't see the potential. Yes, maybe you need some good aim, maybe you need good reading abilities, but guys, you can see this footage. You can see what's going on here. And this was like, I didn't need like 20 tries for this to show it like once. This was like almost every round. Okay, we hit the end of this video. So I really hope you enjoyed it and that you can agree to the most of my hypercharge list. If not, you know, feel free to share your opinion in the comments. Anyway, if you liked this video, leave a like and consider to subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, leave a dislike and tell me in the comments what I can improve about my future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Your SnakeThug. Peace.